Hello everybody. So just want to do a quick tutorial over the histogram in photography. The histogram is quite an important tool. There are multiple kinds. One is that there's one with colors, red, green, blue, and then there's one where it's just black and white where it shows your brightness and darkness. That one is mainly the one I'm going to be talking about, brightness, darkness, because I find that to be the most useful version and useful tool. Um, so we're going to go ahead and talk about that. On the top right is where you'll find your histogram if you're in Lightroom. Mainly this will be on your camera, uh, depending on the camera you have, depends on how you pull it up. But to put it into a quick perspective, the histogram is like levels per se. So these mountains are brightness and darkness, peaking levels. So the more light there is, the higher it'll go. Now, if it's all the way to the right, that's going to be too bright. If it's all the way to the left, it's going to be too dark. You kind of want your mountains, these peak tops, to be right in the center here. Left side is darkness, right side is brightness. Right is bright, left is dark. And so if it goes too far left, like you could recover it to a certain point. And this is basically data. So like right here, when I edited the photo, the original was not too bad. The left side over here was a little bright, and there's a little bit of darkness here. I just kind of took this to try to get an example here. You see on my histogram, the brightness is almost all the way to the right, but it's not peaking, which means that what peaking is basically the data in the photo is no longer recoverable. It is too bright to pull it back. So in this picture, it's pretty bright, but when we darken it, that information is still there. Same with the shadows. So I did take a few photos to try to show an example here. Turn off clipping. So here, we have Mr. Pillsbury. So with Mr. Pillsbury, let me get rid of some of these. With Mr. Pillsbury, he is literally white. Um, and I took this in the shadow with the background of outside. Now, this is not a great photo by any means. This is just to try to get the example, to get the point across. So with Mr. Pillsbury, he himself, because he is pointed towards the shadow and behind him is light, you would have to raise your brightness to be able to get him in, to be bright enough to be normal brightness. Now, as you see, this whole background is overkill, and up here on the histogram, you see it's all the way to the right. This is past the clipping point, which means all this in the background is no longer recoverable. So if I were to try to make it really dark, nothing would be there. And so Spilsbury, bright. The next one is the opposite. We went ahead and compensated for the light in the back, and what happened was now you cannot see Mr. Pillsbury. So even if we were to brighten this up, you would not see his face. You see over here on the histogram, it's too far left. It is past the clipping point. If I hit J to show clipping points, which just shows the all black or all white. No, wait, it's in the other one. I'm sorry. Um, Basically, he would be showing up as just black. It is not recoverable. If I made this brighter, would not recover. The next one is the histogram is somewhat in the center. It's a little on the bright side over here and a little bit on the dark side. But if I were to go into edit, if I bring up exposure, you can see his face. If I go down, you can see outside. Now you see back here in the sky, that was a little too bright. And what I mean by that is no matter how dark I get, I will not get the clouds that we had in, say, here. See how it's blue in the background compared to here. And I believe I took an actual correctly exposed. No. Okay. So you would watch your histogram to be able to make sure that any information that you want is within retaining point. So if you want him to be seen and you want the background as well to be seen, you'll have to adjust your exposure. Yeah, the original picture will be dark to where it'll probably look something like this, but when you brighten it up, you'll be able to see him and you'll be able to see outside by just making some adjustments. And so again, out in the sky was too bright, it was clipping, and so we don't have that data. It's unrecoverable. We don't have those blues, we don't have the clouds, we have nothing. But we still have Mr. Pillsbury. He is not too dark, and so we would be able to bring him back by bringing up the shadows. You'd be able to see his face. Hopefully that makes sense. If not, let me know. I'll try to do a better job of explaining it. This was just kind of try to be really quick. So, thank you.